What's up, YouTube family? Thank you so much for joining. I am Rasan, and as you can tell by this video title, this is about the vacation, right? The vacation is a cultural, historical phenomenon by which somebody goes on a vacation with their significant other. This is such a pressing topic for me because my wife and I, by the grace of God, just hit a year married, and we decided to spend it in Santiago, Chile. And that's where I am right now. It's currently nighttime. And when my wife and I arrived a few days ago, we were walking through the park, and I was just in a meditative state about how much bliss I was in, how much I was enjoying my wife. And this experience of being in Christ, living a life that you're seeking sanctification, seeking to be pleasing unto God, it's something that is so unique and something that is so assuring. And I began to compare that or reflect on my life before Christ and about the vacations that I went on before I was married to my wife. And it got the wheels turning about, wow, I can't believe that I went to these depths and these lengths and these heights with a woman who was not my wife. And a lot of times we only think about, physically and, sexually, but it's also emotionally and the perspective of intimacy because, by proxy of just being in another place with another person, you're already feeling the feels and, oh my gosh, this just feels so right together. And, I'm just loving on you and all these other things. And so I was operating according to my own wisdom, doing what I felt was best or what I felt was right, or doing what my flesh wanted to do. And so now that I'm in Christ and experiencing what God has ordained according to his word and according to his will, I'm reflecting on my previous experiences and thinking to myself, wow, that was counterfeit. The things that I was experiencing then, the love that I thought that I was experiencing, the intimacy that I thought that I was experiencing, it was all counterfeit in comparison to what God's will for my life really is and really was. And so I see how with the vacation and many other topics, it's our culture's way of making things that are intended to be sacred into things that are common. And this is oftentimes proliferated by social media, right? You see a picture of a cute couple with a matching outfit in Cancun, and you like, oh my goodness, I want that for me and mine, and I want it soon. And so, you skip the process of going through premarital counseling. You skip the process of, and I'm talking about myself, you skip the process of actually proposing and being married, and you just like, you know what? Let's just throw caution into the wind and let's just do it. And so what comes after that, if you don't stay with the person, which I didn't, and many people don't, stay with the person that they go on vacations with, you consider the fact that, dang, I really done posted these photos on Instagram, and now I gotta delete them. I feel foolish. I'm talking about myself. I've been there. Wow, I done big up this person to my whole family. I done sent pictures and selfies from us being on the beach to the fam, and now I gotta delete them. Oops, now I gotta say never mind. Now I gotta pretend like it didn't happen. And so while I'm so grateful for the fact that I experienced these things with my wife now today, I also have to reconcile the fact that I've done this or attempted to do this with another woman, thinking that I was accomplishing something major. And so, there are many things such as, your sexual history that you'd ideally want to share first with your spouse, your significant other, the one that you end up marrying, the one that you do marry. But this is another aspect of that. Like, wow, I can't believe I spent all of this money, all this time, and all these emotions with another person in another country or another state, another city, and I have nothing to show for it. And so with that all, if you've ever read the book of Ecclesiastes, it's vain, it's vanity, right? I've gone through all of this stuff with this other person, all these experiences with nothing to show for it. It's vanity. I thank God for grace and for mercy, and I'm so grateful for the experience to be in Christ Jesus, right? where there is the fullness of joy, and where I do have assurance, where I do have validation, right? But that concept of going super deep with somebody and then it's no longer, that can begin to mess with your psyche. Like, dang, do I even have any value anymore? Because I went this far with this person and I don't have anything to show for it, right? So there's an additional level of comfort and peace that I have with my wife walking down the streets of Santiago, Chile. And, we just looking at each other, just googly eyed. And I'm like, dang, baby, it's really just you and it's really just me. And we in this thing forever for sure. Not just because I said it, but because we put some skin in the game, right? We done went to the courthouse. We done got our past involved. We had 70 plus witnesses, right? We done combined everything about our lives, right? So my exhortation to you all, whoever's watching this, would be to exercise wisdom. This is not a situation in which you would like to put the cart before the horse, because there's levels to these things. And yes, I did go on vacation with another women, and women. I can't even recall, right? I've done it all. I've lived a worldly life. But it's something that's far more fulfilling about actually doing this with a person that God has called you to be with for forever. And so be careful what you share with somebody else outside of the covenant of marriage. And some people might be like, oh, we go on the vacation, but we get separate rooms. It's not just about the sex. It's about the memories. It's about the experiences. It's about the emotional intimacy. And this is not something that you'd want to embark on with someone that you're not for sure that you're going that you haven't committed the rest of your life to. And so with this, with doing the vacation in the way that I believe God has called us to, there is a lot less regret, a lot less remorse, and more liberty in it, because I'm not scared to share anything with my wife because she's my wife. And you can also save yourself on some silly feelings. You don't have to think to yourself, dang, now I got to delete them photos off of Instagram because this whole vacation situation that I fabricated, in attempts to try to fulfill an image or just an experience, I now have to delete them. You don't have to go through that process. So save yourself the trouble and do it the way that God has ordained for you. God bless you, family.